Warriors, rise! The dollar collapse is here, warriors. I'm going to show you a depiction of the Roman days and the fall and how it's matching up almost exactly to what we're experiencing right now. Now, this is not doom and gloom, but I'll share with you guys what I'm doing to prepare. My name is Coach JV. I am the top health, mindset, and crypto coach in the world. Remember, what you believe in your heart, you think in your mind, will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hand. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. And what you're experiencing right now, warriors, in your current society and current reality that you see with your physical eyes is a manifestation of the predictive programming and subconscious mind programming from generation to generation. But I'm going to show you today that this is nothing new under the sun. And I'm going to share with you what I'm doing to prepare for what I believe is one of our biggest financial collapses in history. I'm not a doom and gloom guy. I am super positive about this. It's the most exciting times in human history. I may have a different view than other people, but the reason why is because I prepare. I'm already wealthy, already healthy, mentally, spiritually. If anything physical gets taken from me, nothing changes. That's what I teach in my 120-day challenge in our Warrior Academy. You can click and join today. We launched today together, but you can join at any time to help get your shit together. Cryptocurrency, access to my portfolio, exit strategy, nutrition, exercise, subconscious mind programming. Click the description of this video, everything you need. You can also join our free Facebook group and Discord down below. All right, let's kick it off, warriors. So I love history, absolutely love history. So my recommendation to you guys is to follow Ray Dalio. Okay, Ray Dalio is one of my favorite economists. And if you look at investors, would be Cathie Woods. Okay, Cathie Woods. I like Warren Buffett style investing and Cathie Woods innovation style investing. So that's kind of a combination that I do. This website right here, this YouTube channel, it's Gold and Silver with Mike Maloney. We're gonna watch his a quick excerpt in 2018. I want you to think about this. He posted this in 2018 of October. Think about how much has happened since the 2018 of October, how much our world has changed after he posts this video. It's the fall of the empires, Rome versus US, hidden secrets of money, episode 9. I'd highly recommend you go watch all the episodes. So we're going to watch this episode on what happened with the debasement of currency in Rome. And you're going to see some eerie similarities to America right now. Now, what you need to understand, though, it's not just America this is happening, warriors. Turkey, the economy is collapsing. Venezuela collapsed. Many countries are moving into cryptocurrency to just be able to barter and survive, okay? So we're going to watch this video right here. And then what we're going to do from here is I'm going to take you through why I think the dollar is going to collapse, okay? How they're setting us up and how cryptocurrency is going to be the hero.
The Romans were the first culture to understand the Roman Republic enjoyed a long period of practically no influence.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. Give me 1 second. You guys know I don't edit my videos here. I probably should, but oh well. Here we go.
As from its quantity. Even still, the Romans never stopped churning out more currency, just like the USA today and the ancient Greeks before them. But in their race to debase, the Romans came up with some new twists of their own.
The first of these twists was coin clipping. Whenever a Roman would enter a government building, they'd simply clip the edge off of their gold or silver coin. They would save up all of those clippings, melt them down, and mint more coins, expanding the currency supply. And when that wasn't enough, they developed the art of revaluation, where you just take a coin and you stamp a new value on it. You got 100. That's simple.
How familiar does that sound? That's simple. Just print some money.
The move away from precious metals to something less than precious metals, and the Roman Empire famously clipped their coins. This was a debasement of the currency. There wasn't a paper currency, but it was a debasement of the currency. In the US, there's a very interesting phenomenon going on where they're not clipping coins, but when you go to the supermarket, you find that the portions of the items at the supermarket on sale are shrinking. You know, the servings on various other consumer products are getting smaller and smaller, but this price is the same. So it's very similar to that old Roman coin clipping trick from 2,000 years ago. It's another form of currency debasement, but it's hidden through cardboard and marketing and fancy presentation. But the people are nevertheless having their currency debased.
So why should you care about this? The quality of a society is directly proportional to the quality of its money. Stable money leads to stable prices, which leads to a stable society, whereas debasement of the currency leads to the demise of empires.
The major reason for Rome's ongoing currency debasement was to pay for their ever-expanding empire and never-ending wars. The precious metals content of their coinage fell further and further until it had next to no connection with the pure gold and silver that had initially provided them with a stable economy. Cut to today, and we see the same pattern. Up until the outbreak of World War I, the United States had very high levels of precious metals in its coinage, and treasury notes were backed by gold at a 1-to-1 ratio. From there, the USA debased its currency more and more to pay for World War II, the Korean War, and then the Vietnam War, until finally, the link between gold and the US dollar was severed completely. For those new to the series, let's revisit the pivotal event that has managed to sneak under the radar of modern historians as nothing more than a side note, even though it will have repercussions for generations to come. It was an unprecedented act of global debasement by a modern wannabe emperor that would make any Roman ruler hang his head in shame.
Most people think that President Nixon's criminal activities were limited to wiretapping and spying on the competition. But his greatest crime came on August 15th, 1971, when he severed the last ties between the dollar and gold, when he ended the Bretton Woods system.
I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold or other reserve assets, except in amounts and conditions determined to be in the interest of monetary stability and in the best interest of the United States.
That moment right there was a pivotal moment in our history. Okay, I was born in 1976, so think about that. 5 years before that, they completely changed our monetary system. As people just sat back and watched our monetary system changed, didn't blink an eye. Why did they not blink an eye, Warriors? Because they had been predictively programmed into that. It all started in the 1900s when they switched our education system and our medical system, and we started with the Federal Reserve in 1913. So they predictively programmed the people into a monetary system where they didn't even flinch when that happened. Think about that, Warriors. Programming, television. They already had them addicted to the television at that point. Predictive programming. Okay, so check this out. So Roman economy was based on a trade which was vital to Rome, right? Grain, beef, oil, glassware, wine, spices, silk, iron, silver, marble, and timber. Okay, and this was in 2000 AD. Okay, then trade generated vast amounts of wealth for citizens of Rome, right? So that was their biggest commodity was their people, right? Think about that. You were doing exactly what you're supposed to do. If you grew corn and I shoot horses, we bartered and we traded and we were abundant because we were doing what we were supposed to do. But they built us into a system now where we're robots, where we fall in line and we go to a job just over broke. And basically it's a monetary system that we live in now. Okay, so if you look at the debasement of the currency, the major silver coins used during the first 2020 years of the Roman Empire was a denarius. Okay, and what they did was, as you saw that, they started to first change the silver. Okay, it used to be 90% silver to 50% silver. They used to change the composition of the currency. And you're going to see the silver content of Roman dinars, just like our dollar, right? It started to become less valuable and less valuable and less valuable. So basically the silver content was being changed and they're debasing the currency. Okay. So by the Marcus Aurelius, there was 75% times 2, and there was all the way down to 5% at that time. So the consequences, the real effect of debasement took time to materialize. What's happening right now? In 1971, once they detached from the gold standard, it's taken time to materialize. And now we're experiencing the debasement of our currency. So the real effects of debasement took time to materialize. Adding more coins of a poorer quality into circulation did not help increase prosperity. It just transferred wealth away from the people. Does that sound familiar? And it meant that more coins were needed to pay for goods and services. What's happening now? 1971, specifically 1913, okay, when we created the Federal Reserve. Then in 1971, we detached from the gold standard. You can see the extreme debasement of our currency. It looks exactly the same as this. The US dollar, it takes, I think, don't quote me on this, I think it takes $36 to buy the same thing a dollar would in 1913, I believe, okay? The effects with soaring logistical and admin cost. What's happening right now with our government? They had to raise the debt ceiling to pay for basic cost and no precious metals left to plunder from the enemies. The Romans levied more and more taxes against the people to sustain the empire. Hyperinflation, soaring taxes, and worthless money created a trifecta that dissolved much of the Roman trade. Okay, the economy was paralyzed. By the end of the 3rd century, any trade was left that was mostly local, using inefficient barter methods instead of any meaningful medium exchange. Now the collapse, okay? During the crisis of the 3rd century, what are we going through right now? The Roman Empire completely collapsed, warriors. So what would it take for the US currency to collapse? Okay, so this is really important. Why do currencies collapse? So history is full of sudden currency collapses. Argentina, Hungary, Ukraine, Iceland, Venezuela, Zimbabwe, Germany have all experienced terrible currency crises since the 1900s. And in the Red Pill Bootcamp, we're starting today. I'm going to be going through the 1900s and why things changed so dramatically back then. Depending on the definition of collapse, the Russian currency calamity during the 2014 can be considered another example, okay? The root of any collapse stems from lack of faith in the stability or usefulness of the money to serve an effective store of value and medium of exchange, okay? Let's pause there for a moment. The only reason the US dollar has value is because we believe in it. That is it. I want to make that very clear. That is the only reason it has value. This can be brought about by improper valuation, pegging, chronic low growth, and inflation. We're heading into an inflationary period that is no longer transitory, okay? Now, this is important to understand. The strength of the US dollar ever since Bretton Woods 1944, other major governments and central banks have relied on the US dollar to back up value of their own currencies. Through its reserve currency, the dollar receives extra legitimacy in the eyes of domestic users, currency traders, and participants in international markets, okay? This is important. I didn't even know this. The US dollar is not only the reserve currency in the world through its most prevalent. As of October 2016, the IMF, okay, approved 4 other currencies: the euro, British pound sterling, Japanese yen, and Chinese yuan. It is important that the dollar has competitors now as the international reserve currency because it creates a theoretical alternative for the rest of the world in case American policymakers lead the dollar down a damaging path, which we know we're heading on a damaging path right now, warriors. They had to raise the debt ceiling by $2.2 trillion. Have you looked at the infrastructure bill, warriors? Have you looked at the infrastructure bill? Has your pay gone up as much as inflation has gone up? No. Products, goods, and services are skyrocketing. If they raise interest rates this quarter, that is a signal, warriors, in my opinion, for a stock market collapse. Okay, then we have Evergrande here. My warriors sent this over to my research team. So Evergrande, e-battle, China Evergrande shares the halt in trading. So they weren't able to pay, warriors. Evergrande, the world's most indebted developer, is struggling to repay more than $300 billion in liabilities, including $200 billion in international market bonds that were deemed to be cross default by rating firms last month after it missed its payment. The property developer missed new coupon payments worth $225 million due last Tuesday. This is getting scary, warriors. So not only is America collapsing, but look at China. China Evergrande is a massive ripple effect throughout the economy. Okay. Now, I want to take you back to 1989, the cover of The Economist magazine. I want to keep revisiting the same things, just like they do to you guys, predict to program you into believe the way that you do. 1989, this was the cover of The Economist magazine. The Economist magazine predict many world events. So get ready for a world currency. If you see the phoenix rising from the ashes, has a 10 on the front of it, a phoenix, you can take those symbols and figure out what you think they are. Burning cash, and you look, you got the digital yuan, you got the US dollar down there. That's in 1989. And one of my research teams sent this to me as well. So Abdullah, check this out. Is it ironic that on January 1st, 2022, one of the first posts that they put out there on their Twitter, The Economist magazine, was an old article, which is get ready for the Fed coin and Euro coin. So this is an article that came out on May 8th, 2021, the digital currencies that matter. Get ready for Fed coin and Euro coin. But they posted it on January 1st, 2022. The technological change in upending finance, Bitcoin has gone from being an obsession of anarchists to a $1 trillion asset class that many fund managers insist on adding to their portfolios. Swarms of digital currency day traders have become a force on Wall Street. PayPal, 392 million users, a sign that America is catching up with China's digital payment giants. Yet, as our special report explains, the least noticed disruption of the frontier between technology and finance may end up as most revolutionary: the creation of government digital coins, which typically aim to let people deposit funds directly into a central bank by bypassing conventional lenders. That last sentence is so critical. The creation of a government digital currency, which typically aims to let people deposit funds directly to the central bank, bypassing conventional lenders. Why would they do this, Warriors? It goes back to the 1900s. In the 1900s, okay, you had some very, very wealthy families. In the 1900s, in Jekyll Island, they created the Federal Reserve, which is 1913, okay? They created the central banks that support the commercial banks. Commercial banks right now are in a race to the digital economy. They're in a race to get up with digital DLT, distributed ledger technology. They are a race to make sure that they can custody your cryptocurrency, because if they don't, they will be obsolete. There is a Fed coin coming. There is a central bank digital currency coming. This is how they're going to correct the collapsing economy. Cryptocurrency, I'm going to start sounding the alarm, is here to stay. 2 years ago, this was all pie in the sky. Nobody believed me. Whereas it is here. A CBDC is coming. ISO 20022 starts its implementation in 2022, Warriors. You are going to be operating on a FedNow wallet. What they're going to do is they're going to separate the rich and the poor. The middle class is going to get wiped out, leveraged towards technology. Jerome Powell has told you that. And what they're going to do is they're going to put you on universal basic income. You're going to get it through your FedNow wallet. You're going to own nothing and be happy. So what can you do during these times? You want to be on the investment side of a collapse. That's how it becomes the best time in human history. We're all doing the best we can to guess ourselves into this new economy. But cryptocurrency is a .com type moment. But what everybody's trying to do is get rich quick because of Dogecoin and Shiba and all these shit coins. Everybody thinks they're going to get in and get rich quick. This is be slowly, methodically, dollar cost averaging into fundamental cryptocurrencies that are here to stay with real world solve, real leadership teams, real marketing teams, setting it, forgetting it. If it goes up, you sell. If it goes down, you buy more. Very simple, Warriors. It's a patient, boring, methodical process. But if I told you for the next 3 to 5 years, if you could get your shit together and you could slowly and methodically invest and become one of the wealthiest people in the world, would you do it? Most of you wouldn't. That's the fact, because you've been predictive programmed to be an emotional creature, to get rich quick, to go into a lottery, to go to the casino, to win money, Warriors. Everybody is so impatient, okay? But we're patient enough to be in a horrible relationship for the rest of our lives. We're patient enough to be overweight the rest of our lives. We're patient enough to be in a job that we hate the rest of our lives. We're not patient enough to save money for 3 to 5 years, to cut out frivolous spending, to get an extra job, a just over broke, to get yourself out of the main just over broke, Warriors, to start a side hustle. There's never been a better time in history to start a side hustle. So, Warriors, if you need support, click the link down below to join either our free Facebook group, our free Discord. So many resources. Join our private Warrior Academy. But this is a time. But remember, Warriors, this is not a fear tactic from me. This is the greatest time in human history. The last 2.5 years of my life has been the greatest time in some of the worst economic times in the world. So I love you. I appreciate you. As we always say, Warriors, rise.
Well, look at the time. I'll try to keep this brief. After 28 years of peacock logos on much of what I own, it is my choice now to jump without a net into the great unknown, as I do for the first time in my 62 years. My biggest worry is for my country. The truth is, I'm not a liberal or a conservative. I'm an institutionalist. I believe in this place, and in my love of country, I yield to no one. But the darkness on the edge of town has spread to the main roads and highways and neighborhoods. It's now at the local bar and the bowling alley, at the school board and the grocery store. And it must be acknowledged and answered for. Grown men and women who swore an oath to our Constitution, elected by their constituents, possessing the kinds of college degrees I could only dream of, have decided to join the mob and become something they are not, while hoping we somehow forget who they were. They've decided to burn it all down with us inside. That should scare you to no end as much as it scares an aging volunteer fireman.